Residents fear they'll need to leave the villages because of amenity fees. An Amenity Authority Committee member has resigned. District offices are in the midst of moving to Brownwood. Villagers to foot the bill for eroding shoreline near Lakeshore Cottages. A villager was arrested for attacking another villager at a postal station. Protesters demand safety improvements on one of the village's most dangerous roadways. A family housing development on Rolling Acres Road could be a problem. Sumter County refunding tax money after the fire tax fiasco. Another death in the villages due to a golf cart crash. 2 Watercrest senior living complexes has been sold. Highly intoxicated woman attacks police officers at the village's hospital. How many holes in ones of golf will we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us once again for the village's exciting news update. The resignation of a member of the Amenity Authority Committee has announced. At Wednesday's meeting at Savannah Center, AAC Chair Donna Kempa announced that Sandy Mott, who had represented the Lady Lake County portion of the villages, has tendered her resignation. Mott, a longtime resident of villages who for many years had been a leading voice in the village's homeowners advocates, had been appointed to the AAC in 2021 and successfully ran for the seat in 2022. The AAC will begin the process of searching for a replacement for Mott with input from the town of Lady Lake. The AAC oversees amenities north of County Road 466. Well, good luck on your future endeavors. And thanks for what you've been doing for the Lady Lake portion. The district's office is in the midst of a move to the new center of the villages. Workers were busy throughout the weekend moving files and furniture from Lake Sumter Landing office to the former Street of Dreams building at 3571 Kiesel Road in Brownwood. The district has inked a 10-year lease of the villages. The new offices are expected to open Wednesday at Brownwood. In the meantime, satellite offices are available at the temporary district office above Starbucks at Lake Sumter Landing, as well as the satellite office at La Hacienda Recreation Center. The Brownwood office will be the permanent home of community standards, custom service, district clerk, district management, finance, human services, human resources, recreation administration, and risk management, and utility building. The project-wide advisory committee has unanimously agreed to spend $125,000 on a plan to address the eroding shoreline at the Lakeshore Cottages at Lake Sumter Landing. The erosion is taking place at the shoreline along about 1,500 feet, extending from the bridge to the Lighthouse Point Bar and Grill. Natural erosion has removed large sections of the shoreline. Assistant District Manager Bruce Brown told PWAC members in a meeting Monday at the Seabreeze Recreation Center. He said the Department of Property Management has been spending about $48,000 a year to combat the erosion by hauling in dirt and sand. It's a losing effort, Brown conceded. He said the long-term solution is to put up a riprap along the shoreline, much like it was done last year to shore up the islands which support the bridge at Lake Sumter. PWAC member Peter Moeller, a resident of the village of Caroline, said he walked the area and found the erosion has been significant. There is not enough money in PWAC reserves to cover the project, which one PWAC member estimated could cost as much as $1 million. PWAC currently has about $690,000 in reserve. I got a suggestion. How about we don't build that cover-all building up there for an outside contractor to park his lawnmowers and stuff in? We'll take that money to do this. There's a high probability of going back to the individual district, said Moore, indicating their CDDs would be paying for the project from the maintenance assessments paid by residents. as always. PWAC includes CDDs 5 through 13. The $125,000 plan will include permitting and surveying to be performed in advance of the shoreline work. There is no threat to the residential area. It does not have to be done today, but it's something we need to look at, Brown added. You know, these things were pointed out years ago by, some YouTuber videoed and showed all these kinds of things. And I said then, and I've said it many times since then, you better hold the developer's feet to the fire, because if you don't, when these problems pop up, we're going to be held for the $1 million project, and here's one of them. A highly intoxicated woman got aggressive with law enforcement after she was transported to the hospital in the Villages. Christine Lee Walsh, 40, of Oxford, had a blood alcohol level of 0.400. Good Lord. When she was transported Saturday afternoon to the emergency room at UF Health Spanish Plains Hospital, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. She had been taken into custody as a result of an altercation with a man at her residence. After she arrived at the ER, Walls used profanity toward a female deputy and threatened to kill her numerous times. I'm sorry, because I've seen these things. It's funny when you're there. They're so drunk. Walls spit on the two deputies. That's a no-no. Striking them with her saliva on their heads and forehead. Add that to my charges, she taunted the deputies. Oh, they will. Walls has 7 previous battery convictions. Upon her release from the hospital, she was booked without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. Keep her there for a while. She needs to learn a lesson. She needs to learn a bit of respect. You know, the police officers don't determine law. They just enforce it. And so it's a job they must do. They are dedicated to do it. They are sworn to do it. You don't have to agree with it. That's what lawyers and courts are for. Here's another report that I've been reporting for years before anybody else really was saying much about it, because it's been a dangerous area. I avoid this area as much as I can in the golf cart, and maybe now somebody's going to get the attention. Nearly 100 residents demonstrated Friday morning demanding safety improvements on the dangerous roadway in the Villages. Villagers Jim and Donna Vaccaro helped organize to protest after witnessing several accidents and experiencing the heavy traffic which makes Morris Boulevard so dangerous for golf carts and bicyclists. Jim Vaccaro has repeatedly urged authorities to take action to safeguard residents who use their golf carts and bicycles on Morris Boulevard. That area that we're talking about, really, the biggest area is between 466 and 441 and 27. That section through there that takes you up to the Villages Hospital, it is dangerous. There have been more golf carts hit by cars, killed, been a few deaths up there in golf carts. I see it where they could actually make the golf cart off of Morris Boulevard, a private golf cart trail. They don't. I don't know why. My only guess would be that where they could put that golf cart trail, there might be some underground utilities there, and that's why they can't do it. But it still needs to be looked at. Villager Lori Kluhl stood at the intersection of Morris Boulevard and Guido Avenue, where a number of serious and sometimes fatal accidents have tragically occurred. Kluhl said something must be done to improve the intersection, as well as putting in an off-road multimodal path. That's what I'm for, is the off-road multimodal path. And there have been some suggestions that in certain areas up there could be a middle lane turn area. I'm not sure that's going to satisfy the safety board. Fellow resident Ralph Sudina agreed something must be done as he waved a sign urging drivers to slow down. That's another thing. Speeders up and down Morris Boulevard and Buena Vista Boulevard is crazy. Sue and I was passed yesterday going down to Brownwood in our car on Buena Vista Boulevard where the speed limit is 35 miles an hour. This guy must have been doing 70, cutting in and out of traffic. Several demonstrators held up signs urging the county to put in a stoplight at the intersection, as many of the accidents which have occurred on North Morris Boulevard has happened as residents attempt to move onto Morris Boulevard. Several villagers said that they may have to wait up to 10 minutes to turn onto Morris Boulevard. That's how heavy the traffic is. Community Development District 1 Supervisor Elaine Cora said that several fatal accidents on that section of Morris Boulevard would not have happened but if the golf cart and bicycles were off the road on the multimodal path. That is true. It's going to be a cost factor. Serious cost factor. CDD1 supervisor stepped up to the plate and gave the county a report showing how this section of road can be fixed. Years go by and no action from the county. Then another horrible accident. Residents get upset. But who really cares in the county? He urged the county to reduce the speed limit for all vehicles on that stretch of Morris Boulevard to 25 miles per hour. That doesn't do anything. People are going to speed no matter what. I don't care if the speed limit was 65. There's going to be somebody wanting to do 80. So changing the speed limit doesn't do anything. So share your thoughts. Well, leave them in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Oh, this guy looks familiar. A villager has been arrested in an alleged attack on a fellow resident at a postal station. Brandon Scott Metcalf, 64, who lives in the La Crescenta Villas in the village of Santiago, has been tracked down and arrested after the confrontation which occurred Friday night at the Santiago postal station. Seems to me La Crescenta Villas, I've been reading a lot of reports of problems in there. A resident was walking to the postal station when a large truck pulled up next to him on Enrique Drive, according to the arrest report from Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The man and woman in the truck began yelling at the walker and complained that they were not able to see him. The man pointed out he was walking with a flashlight. He told them to mind their own business and continued walking to the postal station. The truck continued following the man, and profane language was exchanged. You can imagine. The truck pulled into the postal station, and the driver, later determined to be Metcalf, got out and confronted the walker, who was trying to retrieve his mail. I don't know who you think you're talking to, Metcalf told the walker, according to the report. Metcalf allegedly struck the man on the left side of his chest. They exchanged more words, prompting the woman to get out of the truck. She denied the man's assertion that Metcalf struck him, and she complained once again that they could not see him walking along the roadway. Metcalf and the woman got into the truck and drove away. The walker called law enforcement. He had been able to record a portion of the altercation on his phone. In the video, Metcalf could be seen making a swift motion with his right hand. The hand came in contact with the other man, causing the camera to jerk rapidly. The next day, the man spotted a truck at 2813 Burgess Drive, less than a mile from the postal station. He contacted law enforcement. A deputy who had viewed the video looked up the driver's license photo from the truck owner and found that Metcalf was a match with the man in the video. The Ohio native turned himself in Tuesday night. He was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. In 2020, Metcalf was in the center of an acrimonious neighborhood battle over a large work truck he had parked in the La Crescenta Villas. A villager could be fined over her illicit landscaping. The home of Leanne Olson at 3558 Cosmos Way in the village of Hillsboro, that's the other Hillsboro across the highway up there, was the subject of a public hearing Thursday afternoon before the Community Development District 10 Board of Supervisors at Seabreeze Recreation Center. A complaint was received October 4 about landscaping at the home that was put in without the approval of Architectural Review Committee. I'm going to say it again. I say it 100 times, but I know it'll come up again next year or whatever. Do not play games with the ARC. I'm telling you, you're going to lose. Community Standards researched the allegation and found that it was valid. After the violation was reported, Olson submitted a retroactive application for the landscaping to the ARC. That probably ain't going to work. I mean, it's very, very rare that actually works. However, that application was denied on November 20 due to a lack of a site plan and measurements. As of this week, Olson's property remained out of compliance. The CDD board agreed to give Olson 45 days to submit and win approval of an ARC application and bring the property into compliance. If she fails to do so, she could be fined. Well, hey, it sounds like they're giving you a break. I'd take advantage of it if I was you. If you watch my stuff, I'm telling you, take advantage of this. And here's another out-of-compliance home. A homeowner testified he bought an out-of-compliance home in the villages. Yes, this is a problem that I've talked about before too, many times. You buy a home in here, especially if it's pre-owned. Forget the new homes. The new homes are always in compliance. But if you buy a pre-owned home, you better make sure it's in compliance. Because once you put your name in ink on that paper as the owner. Any complaint after that, you're on the hook. The home of Kyle Worrell and Patricia Grozier at 2404 Schoenfeld Street in the village of Atrim Dales was the subject of a public hearing Thursday afternoon before Community District 10 Board of Supervisors at Seabreeze Recreation Center. A complaint was received September 30th about landscaping at the home that was in the road right-of-way. Oh my God, yeah, I'm looking at the picture. I see these for the first time with you. If you'll look at the landscaping right there next to the fire hydrant, no. You can't do that. During testimony before the board during a public hearing, Worrell said he and his wife purchased the home in February of 2024 through properties of the villages. They paid $840,000 for the home according to the Sumter County property appraisers. He said they received no hint from the sales representative, that's the key right there, sales representative, that the property was out of compliance, and said he used the sales department of the villages specifically because he wanted to avoid any problems. We inherited this issue, Worrell told the board. An application for the landscaping work was never filed with the Architectural Review Committee. He also claimed that his area of the villages was hit by a troll last year. So he's a troll. With more than 50 complaints filed with community standards under the anonymous complaint process. That is crazy if somebody goes to a neighborhood. But see, here's the problem with the anonymous complaint process. It's really the only problem I see, really, is that anybody can do it in any neighborhood. You don't have to live in that neighborhood to make a complaint. So if somebody's got a hard-on, let's say for ARC or that neighborhood or maybe whoever, they can just go in a neighborhood and just call in 50 different anonymous complaints about this, that, and everything else, which ties up the system, which is totally crazy. And these people are just a bunch of childish people to do this. But it makes it bad for everybody else, including me, that they do this kind of thing. So I've always advocated for a change in the anonymous complaint system to add something to the Constitution, that you have to prove that you live in that district before you can make any kind of anonymous complaint in that district. Worrell said he and his wife have accepted the fact that their home is in violation of the deed compliance rules. Okay. He said he has hired a landscaper who will bring the home into compliance. However, there is a problem acquiring the sod needed for the project. I can understand that. He requested additional time to have the work performed. The board agreed to provide Worrell adequate time to have the work completed. See, they're not unfeeling about it. Here's the reason why he's having a hard time getting sod probably this time of year. It's winter. You're going to cut the sod up in wintertime like this. They don't like to. It doesn't take root. It doesn't grow properly. And also, the developer takes priority on all this stuff. Trust me, he's the guy with the bucks. And so if they need 15 semi-truckloads of grass tomorrow, he's going to get it first before you get it. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of tough. If you go to buy any kind of home, whether it's in the villages or whoever, if you use the villages real estate company, make sure you're doing business with a licensed real estate agent. Ask for that person's card. There's a lot of them. There's many of them. But make sure that's who you're doing business with, not a sales representative. You might go to Robin Carnivore, I can't ever pronounce her last name, sorry Robin, and ask her, and she could probably give you more detailed information like that. Or go to Ira's channel. He can give you more detailed information about that. I am not a real estate agent, don't plan to be ever, but I know there's a definite difference. The villages told members on a project-wide advisory committee on Monday that she fears that she and many more residents of Florida's friendliest hometown won't be able to keep up with the amenity fees. Lois Lynn Briscoe bought her home in 2014 in the Juniper Villas in the village of St. James. When I moved here, there was a cap on the amenity fees. The 77-year-old told the members of PWAC, which oversees amenities south of 466. She said as many villagers age, they use fewer amenities, but are still paying the full freight. Consider all of us who can't afford it anymore. People will have to move out because they can't afford it anymore, Briscoe said. This is a very bad hardship. This is a concern of not just me, but also to a lot of my neighbors. The Amenity Authority Committee, which oversees the amenities north of 466, will have a discussion next month about the amenity fees. It has been suggested that it is time for the same discussion by PWAC. PWAC member Dwayne Johnson, representative Community Development District 8, said a discussion could prove to be worthwhile. There is a need to hear from folks. They need to understand The future as much as we need to understand their concerns, Johnson said. PWAC member Peter Mueller said, there still could be economic challenges ahead. Inflation is hard, said Mueller, who represents Community Development District 6. I am not an economist, but I don't think the inflation is over. I don't think anybody ever said it was. But yes, rising costs, even at my age, and I'm younger than a lot of them, but I can see where it could be a definite concern in future plannings. Here's some more development going on. Got a few pictures here to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. The developing around here is just going crazy. I understand it's going like this in a lot of popular areas, but if you're coming to a retirement community with an idea in your head of what a retirement community is, you might want to do your homework here. A proposed family housing development could put more strain on Rolling Acres Road. The Lady Lake Planning and Zoning Board on Monday night approved a plan for a family low-rise development on 18.5 acres at the intersection of Rolling Acres Road and Lakeview Street, south of County Road 466. The property, which is currently vacant, has been annexed into the town of Lady Lake in 2007. At the time, it had been looked at as a future commercial development, but those plans never came to fruition. The new proposals calls for 148 residential units. We're back to that again. Not homes, units. Which could add 39 students to the local schools, 21 elementary, 9 middle school, and 9 high school. That's weird how they can predict that. An environmental assessment indicated that there are 17 potentially occupied gopher tortoise burrows. The nearest bald eagle's nest is 1.5 miles away. The gopher tortoises is going to be the problem. A traffic analysis indicated the housing development would generate about 1,000 daily trips. However, those trips would pour more traffic onto overburdened Rolling Acres Road, which is long ago was declared a failing road, and it still is. A massive Hammocks Oaks development, that's the one I'm trying to get video for you guys to show you how big this massive Hammock Oaks development is, and it's borderlined on the villages. Right across the street, the village of Caroline. It's right there, and I foresee future problems with that quite a bit, which will swallow up most of the land between County Road 466 and Lake Ella Road, Cherry Lake Road, and Rolling Acres Road. It is a beehive of activity. The work has brought flagmen to Rolling Acres Road, adding more backups to a very busy 2-lane road. Most of the cattle in the area have been removed, including 3 donkeys who had been living in a pasture that last year became the last key parcel absorbed by Hammock Oaks. A new family development proposed at Rolling Acres Road and Lakeview Street is not affiliated with Hammock Oaks. The Lady Lake Commission will consider the proposed family development in a first reading set for February 3rd and a second reading set for February 19th. You guys don't even have to worry about the reading unless you got some kind of a biological or a hazardous complaint or something like that. The complaint about traffic is not going to stop this. The complaint about air pollution ain't going to stop this. It's all about tax dollars right now, and that's what they're going to go for. So you better find out where there's some polluted water, groundwater, hazardous material in your water. That's what you're looking for, and the odds are you're not going to find it. Do you guys remember the big fight we were having with Seco Electric here a while back? They was wanting to charge us 600% higher rental on poles. I've never heard that in my life. Rental on poles. I thought that was part of the electrical upgrade that they have to do. It's their poles. They got to provide us electricity. Why are we got to pay rental on? I don't get it. Anyway, Seco Energy members will decide the fate of a villager heading the board of trustees at a time when officials in the villages have been enraged over huge increases in the energy cooperative's pole rentals. Seco Energy will hold an election February 5 at Savannah Center as trustee Gerald Anderson seeks re-election to the District 3 seat. The Village of Bel Air resident won election to the board in 2019, besting 7 other villagers in the race. However, 2024 saw an enormous amount of anger and frustration among community development district supervisors in the villages as the CDDs were hit with huge increases in pole rentals. In June, an official called for the removal of the elected Seco trustees. Some CDDs have been exploring money-saving options, including putting up their own poles and pursuit of solar-powered lights. Tempers have cooled somewhat as Seco came up with the grants and other relief for the CDDs. But I don't know if he has anything to say about pole rentals, and he could be held responsible. People could vote him out for whatever reason they want. That's their right. But do we know that he has anything to do with the pole rental raise? I don't know. My guess would be this, and I don't really know, but I'm going to guess that Mr. Anderson may lose his position here because of that pole rental problem, because I know that it was a big deal. Here's another big deal. This here was astronomically big. Complaints and letters and emails, and possibly attorneys got involved. I don't know, but it was a mess. And it still is a mess. The Sumter County tax collector is refunding monies paid for ad valorem taxes for either the Sumter County Fire District, MSTU, or the Villages Fire District, MSTU. Refunds will be issued to property owners of record and mailed to the address on file unless taxes are escrowed through a mortgage. For those whose taxes are paid by escrow funds with a mortgage company, refunds will be sent directly to the mortgage company. Refunds will be mailed in February 2025. All 2024 accounts unpaid as of January 1, 2025 have been corrected, and corrected tax notices were mailed on January 16, 2025. Your corrected tax bill can also be found by visiting www.sumtertaxcollector.com and choosing Pay Search Property Taxes. The Sumter County Board of County Commissioners, the Commission, initially adopted Resolution 2024-36 and Resolution 2024-37, setting the ad valorem millage rate for the Villages Fire District, MSTU, and Sumter County Fire District, MSTU, at .0272 mils and .29 mils, respectively. However, on November 12, 2024, the Commission adopted amended resolutions reducing the ad valorem millage rate for both fire districts to 0. With the millage rate reduced to 0, no taxes are due and to be paid for either fire district. Therefore, with the consent and approval of the Florida Department of Revenue, all monies collected for tax payments for either the Villages Fire District, MSTU, and or Sumter County Fire District, MSTU, are being refunded. If you should have any questions, please contact Sumter County Tax Collector Office by phone 352-569-6740 or by email to your local tax company at tax@sumtercountytaxcollector.com. My only complaint about all that was, I read it, I think 2 weeks ago in a report, that they're going to charge me, $160,000 to be able to give us our money back. That's the part that I got a problem with. JLL's Seniors Housing Capital Markets team represented the seller, Titan Development, in the sales of the properties to AEW Capital Management. The buyer retained the current operator, Watercrest Senior Living, as the third-party operator. JLL is also handling the acquisition financing on 2 of the assets for the buyer, which will close on January 2025. Completed in 2018, Watercrest Buena Vista offers 224 units in a 3-story Class A building. The community uses a continuum of care model, offering a mix of 118 independent living, 74 assisted living, and 32 memory care units to age in place. Watercrest Buena Vista also offers residents a full amenity package with underground parking, a heated pool, fitness center, salon, media room, bistro and bar, and a golf cart charging station. I've been in that place, by the way, and let me tell you, it ain't bad, but it costs a lot of money. Watercrest Spanish Springs opened in 2016 and consists of 86 assisted living and memory care units. The 3-story property features a variety of amenities, including restaurant-style dining, social gathering areas, salon services, dynamic programming and activities, and wellness and exercise programs. The third party in a portfolio is Watercrest Winter Park, a 106-unit assisted living and memory care community located in the affluent Orlando sub-market of Winter Park. Built in 2019, the community features high-end amenities, attracting some of the strongest rents in the market. There you go. If you ever need assisted living, they have them here. They got a lot of them here, but like everything else, it's all about dollars and cents. How much do you have? Can you afford this? We're talking upwards of $7,000, $8,000 a month to be in these places, depending on what your needs are when you get there. So do your homework. How many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Looks like 3. Lynn Kelly of the village of Dunedin got her first hole-in-one on January 10th at the Sarasota Executive Golf Course. It was rainy, windy, cold, and raw. Despite the conditions, she scored the lucky ace at 98 yards with a 7-iron. Kelly and her husband were golfing with Denny and Carol Copeland. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Lynn. Villager Tony Gresnick nabbed his 7th hole-in-one Tuesday, January 14th. This comes 11 days after his 6th hole-in-one on January 3rd. Both were in the Villages. His 2025 lucky ace were at Bonita Pass Executive Golf Course, hole number 3 at 143 yards using a 6 hybrid club. Number 6 at the Belmont Executive Golf Course, hole number 5 at 149 yards using a 9 fairway metal number 7. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Tony. A villager was thrilled to get her first hole-in-one. Dawn Stevens scored the lucky ace on January 10 at hole number 5 at the Arnold Palmer Cherry Hill course. I liked Arnold Palmer's golf course when I was there. Matter of fact, I think it's on Cherry Hill. When you tee off, you go out like 250 yards, something like that. There's a metal plaque in the ground. Because when they dedicated that golf course, Arnold Palmer hit the first ball, and where that plaque is at is where his ball landed. A little bit of an update there. I think my husband was more excited than I was, Stevens said. Stevens and her husband live in the village of Piedmont. Her very proud mother lives in the village of Belvedere. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Dawn. How about some letters to the editor? Let's see what other people are talking about. To the editor, the Villages is the fastest growing city in Florida. It not only includes a demographic of senior citizens, but also all other age groups. The average age is dropping. The people who support the area are also flocking to the area. Anytime the topic of a Trader Joe's comes up, I always hear everyone chime in that they want a nearby store. Oh, I can't wait. Another one. I have always lived in areas with a store within about 20 minutes. I am in withdrawal. Please consider bringing a store to our area. That's sent by Heidi Lynn, the Villages. To the editor, I just read the crime news, and yet another person living with their parents gets in trouble with the law. Most of the crime I read about in the Villages is a result of Villages children living in a 55-plus community. Now I read about a 19-year-old female living with her mother. I know, it's crazy. I'm sure I don't understand the details of the rules concerning under 55 living in the Villages. I'd bet most of crime in the Villages would disappear if villagers under 55 years old children weren't permitted to live in this fine community. I guess some parents will never allow their kids to grow up and stand on their own 2 feet as adults. Amen to that. If there are rules concerning villagers under 55 years old living in the Villages, maybe the Villages power that be start enforcing the rules. Let me say that again. Enforcing the rules, chuckle, chuckle, for the good of the Villages and its image. That's sent in by Cal Fowler from Lady Lake. Well, let me tell you what. I know the rules of 55 plus, and they're different. I think you have to adopt the rules and be approved of these rules by local commissioners, because I've been in a lot of 55 plus communities, and I've always asked what the exact rules are. And I've had real estate people from other communities in Florida that I've had coffee with ask me things like, how does the Villages get by with this? I don't know. I didn't set up the rules. I'm not on the commission. Because they said this never would happen where I'm at. It's prohibited. You can't do this. But you have to find out what these 55 plus rules are, depending on what 55 plus community you go to, because I'm finding out they're different. But I will tell you the 55 plus rules here, not all part of the rule, but some of the 55 plus rules here are overlooked. They are stretched out of shape, and they're not being enforced. To the editor, yes, I would love to have a Trader Joe's in the Villages. I hope to shop there. So many different types of foods and spices for a great price. Hoping to have one here soon. That's sent in by Alicia Cowell from the village of Piedmont. I don't know. I'm getting along just fine right now without one. Is anybody here starving because we don't have a Trader Joe's? Okay, I think that's going to be the news this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I have fun doing it. I make fun of some things, but it's just my opinion. You're entitled to yours. You can leave them in the comments below. I appreciate all of you coming and watching it. I appreciate all my members, my YouTube members, and my Patreon members. If you can afford to become a Patreon member, we truly appreciate it. We really support our members as much as we can. Your support to our channel is everything. And we truly do appreciate it. If you have any suggestions of things that we're not doing that you would like to see done, or something that I'm doing that you would like to see done maybe better, put them in the comments below. I do read them. And this is just a little note for all of you guys that watches the news every Friday. This is really for you. Just so you know, whenever you make a comment on a video, usually, almost always, for the first 2 hours that the video comes out, from 6 o'clock until at least 8 o'clock, sometimes more, but I'm going to say between 6 and 8 o'clock, I'm on there live. Now, you don't know I'm on there live. I don't tell anybody I'm on there live, but if you make a comment, almost immediately, if I can keep up with them, I comment right back. So that's the quickest way to let me know about something, is that first 2 hours. I'm there. I'm glad you all watch it. I'm glad you all enjoy it. So with that, be well, be safe, take care, stay healthy, because in the long run, I've said it before, all we really have at the end of the game is our health.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.